What should your password policy be 2023 going into 2024? I'm Tony, Asher Security. I'm a lead cybersecurity consultant. And we're at a time where there's an intersection between the old ways and some of the new cybersecurity guidance coming out around passwords. So how do we merge these two things together? And some of the old ways like SOC 2 and regulatory compliance, and maybe even some of those cybersecurity questionnaires that you get from partners are asking how long is your password and what is the expiration policy? And they expect it to be changed frequently, if not at least once a year. And we feel like if it's not, then somehow we have poor cybersecurity practices. So to answer this question, there's two sources that I want to reference today. The first one is NIST, and the second one is Microsoft. Both excellent sources for cybersecurity governance, especially in the areas of passwords. So NIST, and I'll put the reference down below, actually is recommending a minimum character length of 8 characters. They also recommend it's complex, but they also recommend that it doesn't necessarily expire. So kind of interesting guidance. And the thought around this is that when we make a password that's complex, that someone can remember, then they won't write it down and less chance of it getting exposed. And this has really become the new standard. So the only time we should change a password is if we've got reason to change it. Well, when we look at Microsoft aligns with NIST actually, in the reference I'll put down below. Microsoft deals with tens of millions of identities and logins every day, so their guidance is very, very solid. They also recommend a minimum password length of 8 characters or more, and they also recommend not expiring passwords. So there you have it. Now, with that said, it's really important to put into context some of those complementary cybersecurity controls that have also changed over the years. And these are really supporting those password policies. Let's cover the top 5 of them. Number 1 is multi-factor authentication. This is just no longer something we talk about. We should just be doing it as a standard, no questions asked. So multi-factor authentication should be enabled. Number 2 is having security logging. We should have visibility and see if there's a lot of failed logins around an account. How do we know where the user is trying to log in from and how many attempts they've had? Number 3 is dark web monitoring. This used to be something that was kind of mystic and remote, but today it's very cost effective, and it just gives us the ability to look for our company domain and users associated with your domain on the dark web to see if there's passwords for sale. And as we review these, we can take action on them and make sure that the passwords that the users are currently using are either different or have been updated since then. Number 4 is a banned password list. So when I work with pen testers, and the scope of the pen test will sometimes include trying to gain access or break passwords, often what we find is a theme in those passwords that they capture. Sometimes they're the company name followed by the year, or maybe they're the company name followed by the season. And let me tell you that there is a list that is pretty much the standard of guessing users' passwords, and there's a high percentage they're going to get in. So some of these new technologies, Microsoft came out with Azure Active Directory password protection. Absolutely awesome resource to use to put in a list of passwords that you don't want users leveraging. Number 5 is a password manager. This is guidance from those organizations to support this password policy. I think this has its place within the organization. You're definitely going to have to decide. If you're a single password organization with an identity broker, then maybe it doesn't make sense. But if you're using an identity broker and users log into a lot of websites, you don't want them storing those credentials within the web browser, so it can have a place there, very cost effective. So my opinion, password policy today moving forward, I support a password length of 10. I think that we're just going to take the recommended minimum and increase a little bit. I think 10 is not too much to ask for, that password is complex. And I also support non-expiring passwords unless there's a reason to, but also supplementing that with the other controls that we talked about. So, hey, do you agree or disagree? Let me know below. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you want to get a template for a password policy, we also put that in the resources below, and I look forward to hearing from you.